LSU hit the podium on day one at Ogeron in play. Of course, that's one of your main focuses with all the rabid fan base surrounding the Bayou Bengals there. What hit me and struck me was Ed Ogeron talking about what a different coach he is today versus 10 years ago when he was at Ole Miss and appearing at SEC Media Days, how he's learned to deal with the players and with his own assistant coaches in a much better manner.
I think 10 years ago when Ed Ogeron was at this event, he was entering year 3 at Ole Miss, and he was very squarely on the hot seat. This week here at SEC Media Days, Ed Ogeron comes as the head coach at LSU, his dream job, a loaded roster, tons of expectations. You want to talk about worlds apart from where he was 10 years ago to where he is now. That's where Ed Ogeron finds himself. It was interesting, though, because I think when Ogeron was here, he had to face 3 questions in particular. One was that sort of hullabaloo with the camp issue in the University of Texas. 2 is Danny Etling's back and whether or not Danny is going to be LSU starting quarterback. And 3rd, and most obviously, was Arden Key, who missed spring with LSU this year for personal reasons. And maybe something that was interesting was how evasive Ogeron was in talking about Key and also coming off of shoulder surgery, and whether or not he expected Key to be with the team as far as his physical health. And he would only say, we expect him to have a great year. And no matter how specific the questions got, he kept going to, we just expect him to have a great year. It was curiously evasive for a guy who kind of pencils in his weekly schedule and has, Tell the Truth Monday, where after a game, he'll tell you anything you want to know, media or players included. So it was odd to see Ogeron evasive about Arden Key.
Yeah, especially when he did go to the default answer of he's going to have a great season, but if he's possibly going to miss the first game, which is a pretty big one, the biggest non-conference game on the slate against BYU, it's going to be more and more difficult for him to have the great season if he's missing games. When we look at the LSU offense, of course, Matt Canada comes into play. Ogeron is obviously going to say good things about him, but there are good things to say about Matt Canada. He's not committed to a quarterback, but Danny Etling would be the guy if they had to field a team tomorrow and hit the field.
Look, I would be stunned if anyone other than Danny Etling starts a game this year. Barring injury, I'd be stunned if anyone else other than Danny was your starter. 5th-year senior, he's the only guy that's taken a meaningful snap among that quarterback room. I guess you could look at it one of 2 ways. If one of the freshmen were able to emerge, be it Brennan or Narcisse, you could say, well, that's great news because a freshman came in and was really good and won the job. The detriment, though, is your 5th-year senior incumbent would have gotten beaten out, which is not a good look. So I expect Danny Etling to be there. The only question for me with Danny is, if he battled this back injury last year, which apparently he did, how much did that limit him? Because a year ago, Danny Etling was a solid quarterback, a steady quarterback, but he's not dynamic. He doesn't have the big arm. If you're on the left hash and you need to throw a 15-yard out to the right side, Danny's not making that throw. He doesn't have the foot speed and the mobility to make plays with his feet. And the reason that's relevant is because there's going to be those 1 or 2 games on the schedule. I think most people know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about road trips to Bama and Florida, where you may need your quarterback to make plays to win you a game. And the Danny Etling we saw a year ago, I don't think is that guy. Is he healthier now post-back surgery to where maybe he can be more dynamic? I don't know, but I'm curious to find out.